Hello, friends. It's me, Nadine Nardine. I'm so glad you came by the kitchen again for a cup of coffee and a chat. People do all the time. They like to ask me questions and advice, and I give it to them because I know things. I just do, and I like to tell people what to do, and they do it, and it works, and it turns out just fine. People write me letters too, and I got one, and I wanted to share it with you today. And isn't it just so precious? Look at this, how precious. This comes from a gal, and I'm not going to tell you where she's from because I don't want to embarrass her, but this is what it says. It says, Dear Nadine Nardine, that's me, I was on the lake with my boyfriend and his friends on the boat, and a boat full of gals floated by, and they referred to it as a tuna boat. I didn't know what that meant till I went home and looked it up on the Google, because we all find out stuff from the Google. And I realized it was about women not smelling fresh. Now I'm very paranoid that I don't smell fresh, and I'm concerned. Signed, Starkissed. Bless her heart, Starkissed. The first thing that occurred to me when I read that letter was, why does she have to feel so worried about her freshness? She's been with this guy for a while, and now she's all worried, and it tells me she doesn't feel very confident in her relationship. No matter what we do about the freshness issue, which I will address, she don't feel confident in her relationship, and that bugged me. Anybody who makes you feel like you're not good enough, or pretty enough, or skinny enough, or plump enough, or fresh enough, I'd think about kicking to the curb. I'll bet that guy is a clod. Because who says tuna boat in front of their girlfriend or lets what their cloddy friends say it? So I would say this. Do you really want to keep that boyfriend because he makes you feel uncomfortable? Listen, you come back from camping, and what happens when you come back from camping? Men have butch, women have crotch. Know what I'm saying? And you never complain about it because you love your boyfriend. I don't think he's very sophisticated. $10, he doesn't read much book. I don't bet he's ever been to an art museum, and I bet you he's never seen the ballet or modern dance. I'm just saying. But that aside, let's do this. If you're concerned, you must go see your physician. Kathy, let's make sure we get a disclaimer here. I'm not a medical doctor. That's obvious. So anything I tell you from here on out, it's just general advice you should check out with your physician. That means doctor for y'all in the sticks. Go to your down there doctor. I know you don't like your down there doctor. Nobody likes going. And if you don't like your down there doctor, change to a better one. Go there and make sure everything's checked out just fine. And then, if you still don't feel fresh, there might be some things you can do to feel more sparkly and fresh. I would avoid that summer's night or winter's night or day or whatever that stuff they use. I think it's kind of not okay and full of chemicals. So I talked to a gal about this, not using Starkissed, obviously, her name. Well, she didn't use her name. But she referred me over there to the hippie woo-woo grocery store. You know, that Whole Groceries or Nature Life or whatever it is. It's terrible expensive. I paid $5.95 for one avocado. But they have a product, and I picked it up. It's, excuse me, it's called Dr. Bronner's Peppermint Soap with a ton of writing on it. Now, this stuff, according to the label, does everything. You can, and I'm reading right from the label. Y'all can go get it and follow along. You can wash your hands, face, body, your hair. You can do the dishes. You can do the laundry. You can mop the floor. You can wash the dog. You can wash your fruits and veggies. You can make an all-purpose cleaner in your house. You can even spray your plants. Dash of cayenne pepper optional. Isn't that great? And here's the other thing. It sounds like you can even wash the car with it and maybe even change the crankcase oil. I don't know. This stuff does everything, but you've got to dilute it, because before you put it on your nether regions, you better dilute, because let me tell you what, it felt like, you know that YouTube video where they put Mentos in a Coke? Woo! It was like riding a Certs rocket, just saying. But oh, it was tingly and wonderful. The gentleman friend noticed that I was like a peppermint candy stick for a week and a half, all tingly from my head to my nose to my toes. Here's the thing though. I liked this product. I thought it was wonderful, especially in the summertime when it's just so hot and sticky and miserable. This is great. And it comes in all flavors, like it comes in almond and all kinds of stuff, but the peppermint was great. But then I got to reading it, right? And there's a whole bunch of words on it, and some of them sound kind of crazy. This guy, and I'm not saying that the guy's crazy or what, but it started talking about Jesus, and it started talking about the second coming of God's law, and Jesus is going to unite people, and something about Arctic owls and penguins and cats, and I have to teach the moral ABCs. And I think most of it's good about being kind to animals and people on the spaceship Earth. Spaceship Earth, I get trouble when people start talking about God on a product. It bothers me. So then I started looking around. Check this out. There's one. This is Ezekiel 4.9 bread. Okay? I'm sure it's fine bread because I'm going to eat it. And here's another one. Genesis bread. I don't know which book of the Old Testament they were talking about or why they picked one over the others, but I started talking to my pastor, and guess what? I don't think these people read very far in Ezekiel, because you know what? Here's the story of it. And I'm not a biblical scholar. I'm not Marcus Borg, or he just died. God love him. You can go read about him. He was wonderful. But let me tell you about this. So Ezekiel had a vision. He had this vision of a scroll. And it appears, and he has to eat the scroll. He has to eat the scroll, poor old thing. And when he eats it, the word of the Lord is going to fly out of his mouth. Apparently, this is allegory, although some of you take this serious, I know. And he's supposed to have this bread, and he's supposed to eat it out of all these things, and he's supposed to lay on his side for 200 and some odd days on one side, and then he's supposed to feel all bad and flip over to the other side. It's very complex. Anyway, what these people, I don't know if they realize, I think this bread is supposed to be punishment of the Israelites because they're in trouble with God. The whole Old Testament is God being totally grumpy. I mean, the New Testament is more about Jesus being our buddy. But the Old Testament, man, there's all kinds of smiting and stuff like that, except for Psalms. I love the Psalms. But anyway, I started noticing that kind of product. And here's one, manna bread. Manna falls from heaven. That stuff hit you on the head to knock you right out. Here's some vinegar, and right on here, here's a liquid amino spray, and it's talking, which is good. I tried it. And I've had it before, but it has some sort of Bible verse on it, and it got me thinking, I don't think Jesus would really like it if he knew we were using his name in the Bible to sell our products. In my old hometown, I'm not going to tell you where it is, but on 23rd Meridian, and this is the truth, they had the Jesus is Lord pawn shop. I think he would not be happy at all, because I'm thinking about the money changers in the temple when he got all mad. I don't like it. And then the other thing that hits me is this. How come, and I'm going to get political, and if you don't like it, send a letter to me to my P.O. box. I don't take email. Why is it that all of a sudden them Republicans decided that the religious right, and God was on the religious right side, and that's true, you never heard of the religious left. It started bugging me, and I started thinking about it, and I get on the Twitter. Oh, whoops. You get on the Twitter, and people are saying, God wants this, and God thinks that. And I think, well, do you have a red phone or something? And, hey, God, what do you think? And God says, oh, I agree with you perfectly. Who are these people saying what God wants? And they always say it. He always wants what they want. Have you ever noticed that? Oh, yeah, I want this, and God wants me to want it. I don't like it. And then I started looking and realizing that this most recent thing that's happening with the President Trump has made it worse and worse. People are getting hateful and mean to each other. And I'm doing it too. And I feel ashamed of myself because I don't like Donald Trump. I'm sorry if you do. I don't care for him. First of all, I don't like it that he grabbed the kitty cat. I don't care for that. And also, I got to just say this as an aside. Somebody with all that kind of money, why does he have that hair going? I mean, he could have a whole head transplant, honestly, with that kind of money. I go to Fabrice, and I'm not a woman of much means, and look what I get. So that troubles me about his decision-making to have that kind of money with that kind of hair. He could literally have he could have George Clooney's hair if he wanted to by taking his hair off and putting it on. Next, though, is I don't like the way people talk to each other about their decisions on that internet, because I go on and say something like, well, I don't care for Donald Trump. And the next thing you know, oh my Lord, they call me libtard. I think that's a terrible word. Or there's some sort of letters and they talk about George Soros. Who is Soros? I've never heard of him. And then they say I'm a snowflake. Well, I like being called a snowflake because everyone's different and special. But it gets mean. And then And then I get mean too, and I've corrected their spelling. Now, I know my grammar ain't that great, but my spelling is fabulous. That's because of the nuns. Sister Mary Gowdy, I had her as a kid. She scares me to death. Sometimes I even have intrusive dreams and nightmares about Sister Mary Gowdy and spelling. So I'll go on and tend to correct their spelling. And it makes me feel bad, but I get so mad. And then I realize something. If it has a right wing on it, I'll tend to judge it before I really listen. And I know that if it has a left wing on it, they'll judge before they really listen. Like there was a study I heard about the other day from my psychologist cousin Elizabeth, but she does give me some good stuff. And it was an education plan. And if you gave it to a Republican congressperson and said it was written by a Republican, they liked it. If you gave the same plan to a Republican congressperson and it was said it was written by a Democrat, they hated it. Same with the other side. You give it to a Democrat, say it's a Democrat, up. Say it was written by a Republican, down. You see what I'm saying? We've gotten divided. And I started to get troubled because here's the thing. I have these neighbors, Jack and MaryNell. I've been neighbors with Jack and MaryNell for, I'm not going to tell you how long because then you'll wonder how old I am. And Jack and MaryNell love Donald Trump. And I don't care for him. In fact, during the whole election season, we had this property and we had a big old fence, right? And he had his big old Trump sign out there. And I had my Bernie Sanders sign out there. I liked Bernie Sanders because he was a curmudgeon and he had his hair going everywhere and he'd say, billionaires and billionaires. And I thought he was great. Now, my gentleman friend loves Hillary Clinton. He loved her. He loved her when she was going for Obama. I loved Obama. I still love Obama. I did. You can write whatever you want. My point is that I did vote for Hillary when it was clear that for whatever reason Sanders wasn't going to go. I kept his sign up, though, and I voted for her. I think she's a brilliant woman, and she's like Hermione Granger off the Harry Potter thing. You know, she knows more than anything. I didn't find her as inspirational, but that doesn't matter. She would have been a wonderful president. My husband really likes her, though. I think he likes her in those pantsuits. He likes a woman in a pantsuit. I don't care for pantsuits. I think it made her look like she was a postal worker. But that said, here's our fences. Jack, MaryNell's, mine, and they're all out front, and our signs went, Hillary, Bernie, Trump. And my gentleman friend had appendicitis, and, he can't cook for nothing. So MaryNell was helping me put up a whole bunch of casseroles to freeze because, gentleman friend can't do this because him is sick. And so what happened was a big old storm came, a big one, and it blew down everyone's fences, everyone's. And gentleman friend couldn't help me for nothing. And Jack came over and he put up my fence. And he also, he put up my Hillary sign. He hates Hillary. I had to take him out of my Facebook feed because Jack really hates Hillary. But he loves me. And so he put up my Hillary and my Bernie sign. I don't like Donald Trump. But I love Jack and MaryNell. Goodness, I'm sorry. And they love me. And I think what's happening is that there's this mechanism that's making us forget that we're more than if we're a Republican or a Democrat or Bernie or whatever. We're more than that. And we get on the Twitter and the Facebook and the whatever and we beat the tar out of each other. I can't do that anymore because that might be Jack or MaryNell. I don't love Donald Trump, but I love Jack and MaryNell. Those guys in Washington, they're all making money. Democrats and Republicans. And we're killing each other with sticks over something that won't help us. This is our country and it's a mess. Maybe what you should think about is this. My goodness. You may not love Hillary, but you may have a Jack and MaryNell, or you may not love Trump, but I love Jack and MaryNell, and they love me, and I can't keep going. I'm sorry, Katie. Just turn it off. Just turn it off, Katie.